Hey everybody. I know I said I was going to wait to do this Royal Rumble review, but I just finished it and I'm not waiting. Um, this pay per view was amazing, and I don't say that about every pay per view. Let's go through some of these matches. We had on the kickoff show, let's see, Shorty G versus Sheamus. Solid match. We also had Andrade versus Humberto Carrillo for the U.S. title. Another solid match. You know what? Actually, every match on this pay per view was a really solid match. Every single one of them. There was not one match where I was hoping, well, maybe they should have gone a different way with it. Here's one: The Fiend versus Daniel Bryan. I was saying in my predictions video that I thought it was stupid that they were doing a strap match, or at least maybe I don't feel like they need to do a strap match. Well, I can eat my words on that because that match was really good. It's very well paced. Started off a little slower and then it really ended up getting into it. They finally did away with that stupid red light so you could actually see what was going on in the match. And just both wrestlers, Bray Wyatt and Daniel Bryan, they both put each other through hell. You could see the welts on Daniel Bryan's back. Becky Lynch and Asuka, another really solid match. Not that there was anything super special to say about it, but one thing they did with the tables, ladders, and chairs pay per view last month was in the main event. There was way too many big spots, and it feels like you're just watching a big spot fest where they're trying to get to the next spot. Well, you know what? In this match with Becky Lynch and Asuka, they went in there. It was a regular singles match for a title. They just went in there, they did their thing, and they did it good. Very nice pay-per-view quality match. Got Roman Reigns versus King Corbin. It's the first match of the pay-per-view, the actual pay-per-view, not on the kickoff show, and it really set a high standard for the pay-per-view because these guys whooped each other's ass all over the ring, or all over the stadium, excuse me, because this was a Falls Count Anywhere match, and it delivered. It had everything you want to see in a Falls Count Anywhere match, plus more. Bayley versus Lacey Evans. Bayley held the title on this, which I'm surprised. I thought Lacey Evans was definitely going to take the title, but either way, I don't think their storyline is done. Lacey Evans is climbing the ladder in WWE very fast, and that was another solid match that I'm glad it wasn't just a big spot fest of, them trying to get to all these different epic spots. They let them go in there and do what they do best and just wrestle. That's what they did, and it was awesome. Who else do we have? All right, the Women's Royal Rumble match. That was won by Charlotte Flair. I was rooting for Alexa Bliss. She was in first, and she actually lasted a while, but Charlotte Flair won. So overall, really good Royal Rumble match, and I'm very happy with that. And then we got the Men's Royal Rumble match, which, wow. It didn't really need to steal the show because it was the main event, but holy shit, it was good. You have Edge returned, and I would be lying if I say I didn't choke up a little bit when he did, because I could definitely, I could feel it, it hit me in the feels. You could see just the look on his face that he was so happy to be back in the ring, and it was a great return, and he was definitely a little winded here and there because you got to be in ring shape, but of course he's in shape, but being in the ring is a totally different thing. And he went in there and he did what he does best, and it was awesome. Um, Everybody loved to see Edge back, and he lasted a while, and it was just a huge highlight of the show with him coming back. I don't think anybody expected it. At least I didn't. Um, it was nice seeing Drew McIntyre win the Royal Rumble. For a while there, I was starting to think like, I wouldn't be mad if Roman Reigns won the Royal Rumble, but it was nice to see Drew McIntyre, somebody who you don't really see in the main event spot too often, win the Royal Rumble. Now he's going to get a chance to go on to main event WrestleMania. Also, that whole men's Royal Rumble event, starting off with Brock Lesnar. Sorry guys, I'm a little tired. Starting off with Brock Lesnar, he eliminated like probably almost half of everybody by himself, and the ring was pretty empty for the first half of the Royal Rumble. And I remember thinking at first, like, oh God, here we go. Is it just going to be me sitting here watching Brock Lesnar eliminate somebody, then sit there for a minute and, do it again, and then sit there for another minute, and I had to think about, like, oh, am I really going to like this? Yeah. No, I loved it. Brock Lesnar definitely was being tested in this, and he's actually wrestling, guys. He's not just going in there and doing a few suplexes or an F5 and then that's it. Like, he actually gets into some wrestling in here, and it's awesome seeing him do this. Sure, the ring's kind of empty for the first half of the men's Royal Rumble, but you know what? Who cares? He was dominating, and it was awesome to watch it. Anybody that says it wasn't, whatever. I loved it. And you get your, full ring of people in the women's Royal Rumble and the last half of the men's Royal Rumble. And it was awesome. I really think this pay-per-view overall had the perfect amount of everything. Had the perfect amount of emotion. It would upset you in certain areas. It made you cheer in certain areas. Got you in the feels in certain areas. Sometimes the pay-per-view was funny. And it was great. All around, this was a really solid pay-per-view. And I loved it. Now I got to let it sit and marinate, and maybe I'll change my mind in a few days. Maybe I won't. But these are my first reactions of the Royal Rumble 2020, and I absolutely loved it. So, anyways, guys, let me know what you think of the Royal Rumble 2020. Leave your comments. Maybe you guys disagree with me. Maybe you guys absolutely hated it. I don't see how anybody could hate it, though. That was one of the best pay-per-views I've seen in a long time. So, anyways, like, subscribe, and I will see you guys for the next video.